Good day everyone. My topic is all about revisiting Corazon Aquino's speech and analysis of Corazon Aquino's speech. So before we proceed to the document itself, let us first know who is Corazon Aquino and ano yung mga nilalaman ng kanyang speech or the content of her speech. So, Corazon Aquino functioned as the symbol of the restoration of democracy in the overthrow of the Marcos dictatorship in 1986. So the EDSA People Power, which installed Cory Aquino and the presidency, put the Philippines in the international spotlight for overthrowing a dictator through peaceful means. So mahalaga na malaman natin kung ano yung nilalaman ng speech niya para mas maintindihan natin kung para saan or ano yung pinapahiwatig niya. So si Corazon Aquino is naging simbolo ng pagbabalik demokrasya sa Pilipinas. When we say demokrasya, ito yung may kalayaan ang tao. They have a freedom of speech, unlike sa pamumuno ni Marcos na dictator or authoritarian. Siya lang yung may kakayahan na magdesisyon para sa mga tao. So unlike sa democracy, that the government is for the people and by the people. So nangyari ang People Power Revolution noong 1986. So yun nga, kinilala itong isang mapayapang People Power Revolution dahil walang nangyaring mga violence. So the revolution showed that peace and the freedom of the people should be regained without any violence. So nangyari yung people power na yon when former Senator Ninoy Aquino was shot at the tarmac of the Manila International Airport on 21 August 1983. So the Marcos regime greatly suffered a crisis of legitimacy. So in order to try to hold on to his power or to prove his credibility, he called a snap election on February 1986, where Corazon Aquino, the widow of the slain Senator Ninoy Aquino, convinced to run against Marcos. So pagkatapos ng election, the COMELEC or the Commission of Election announced na ang nanalo is si Marcos or si Ferdinand Marcos. But sinasabi dito, according to the book, is it was rigged or minanipula yung boto. That is why nanalo si Marcos. So sa panahon na yon, si Corazon Aquino is wala siyang alam sa politics or she is not well surrounded in politics. It was her husband who is well surrounded in politics. But para ipaglaban yung demokrasya at yung pagkamatay ng kanyang asawa is she forced to run against him. But yun nga, sinasabi doon na it was rigid and binanipula yung boto. Mas sumiklab pa yung suporta para sa kanya, yung suporta ng mga tao, at mas dumami yung protesta laban sa pamumuno na corrupt at authoritarian rule ni Marcos. So kasama na dito na nagprotesta si Juan Ponce Enrile and Fidel V. Ramos na isang may mataas na katungkulan or posisyon that time sa military. So ang plano nila sana is the coup militar or sa pilitang pagpapaalis kay Marcos, but it was turned into a civilian demonstration where thousands of people gathered in EDSA. So matapos ang People Power Revolution is doon na nakamit ng mga tao ang kalayaan laban sa korap na pamumuno ni Ferdinand Marcos. So according to this book, on 18 September 1986, 7 months since Cory became a president, and she went to the United States and spoke before the joint session of the US Congress. So sa kanyang speech, binanggit niya yung pagkamatay or conviction ng kanyang asawa. Sinabi rin niya dito na 3 beses na nilang nawala sa kanila si Ninoy Aquino because of authoritarianism ni Marcos. Corazon Aquino stated that The government sought to break him by indignities and terror. They locked him up in a tiny, nearly airless cell in a military camp in the north. They stripped him naked and held the threat of a sudden midnight execution over his head. Ninoy held up manfully under all of it. I barely did as well. For 43 days, the authorities would not tell me what had happened to him. This was the first time my children and I felt we had lost him. So Cory continued that when Ninoy survived the first detention, he was then charged of submersion, murder, and other crimes. He was tried by a military court whose legitimacy Ninoy adamantly questioned to solidify his protest. Ninoy decided to do a hunger strike and fasted for 40 days. Cory treated his event as a second time that their family lost Ninoy, and she said that when that didn't work, they put him on trial for submersion, murder, and a host of other crimes before a military commissions. Ninoy challenged its authority and went on a fast. If he survived it, then he felt God intended him for another fate. We had lost him again. For nothing would hold him back from his determination to see his fast through to the end. He stopped only when it dawned on him that the government would keep his body alive. After the fast had destroyed his brain, and so, with barely any life in his body, he called off the fast on the 40th day. Isa pa sa nilalaman ng speech niya is the debt of the Philippines na umabot ng 26 billion US dollar sa panahon ni Marcos. She stated that, "Finally, may I turn to that other slavery, our $26 billion foreign debt. I have said that we shall honor it, yet the means by which we shall be able to do so are kept from us. Many of the conditions imposed on the previous government that stole this debt continue to be imposed on us who never benefited from it." So sinabi niya rin na babayaran niya yung utang kahit na hindi naman makaka-benefit ito sa mga Pilipino. Sinabi pa ni former Corazon Aquino na sa kanyang speech na kahit saan siya pumunta is marami siyang nakikita ng mga nagugutom, walang trabaho, pero imbis na humingi sila ng pagkain or trabaho, ang sinasabi nila na hinihingi nila is democracy. So she stated that wherever I went in the campaign, slum area or impoverished village, they came to me with one cry: democracy, not food. Although they clearly needed it, but democracy, not work. Although they surely wanted it, but democracy, not money. For they give what little they had to my campaign. So Cory Aquino ended her speech sa pamamagitan ng pasasalamat sa Amerika na itinuring nilang tahanan at sa pagtulong para maitayo ang Pilipinas bilang bagong tahanan ng demokrasya. So now, let us move forward to the analysis of Cory Aquino's speech. So, gisumary ko lang at i-highlight ko yung mga importante na nilalaman ng speech. So, number 1 is the importance of the speech. So, ang speech ni Cory Aquino ay mahalaga sa political at diplomatic history ng bansa. Ipinakita nito na ang EDSA government ay hindi lang sa Pilipinas at ito ay legit. Pinakita niya sa buong mundo, lalo na sa international community. And also, napansin din naman natin na sa speech is nakafocus siya sa kay Ninoy Aquino. So, malaking parte ang speech na yun tungkol kay Ninoy, yung hirap at sakripisyo na laban sa dictatorship ni Marcos. Kahit na pinag-uusapan na niya yung bago niyang gobyerno, lagi pa rin niyang binabalik kay Ninoy yung inspirasyon at legacy niya. And also the third one is the reconciliation at peace approach. Si Cory Aquino is pinakita rin niya bilang isang reconciliatory leader matapos ang 2 dekada ng authoritarian rule. And the number and also the similarity with Marcos' foreign policy. Even though kahit gusto ni Cory na ipakita na opposite siya kay Marcos, meron pa rin ang pagkakapareho. Tuloy pa rin ang alliance ng Pilipinas at US. So nakita yun sa speech niya sa US Congress. And also binanggit din niya yung tungkol sa foreign debt. Aminado siya na hindi nakinabang ang mga Pilipino sa 26 foreign billion dollar na utang ni Marcos. So actually may option siya na hindi bayaran kasi utang yun ni Marcos, pero pinili niya na bayaran. Ibig sabihin debt driven pa rin ang economy under her government. And overall, hindi lang ideas ni Cory ang ipinakita sa speech, kundi pati rin ang guiding principles ng bagong gobyerno. Pinakita niya ang dalawang bagay, ang pagkakaiba niya kay Marcos, which is the democracy, rights, and peace. But mayroon ding pagkakapareho, which is yung foreign relations with US the policy. In the end, Cory Aquino's speech became a symbolic historic of hope. She represented na kahit wala siya masyadong experience sa politics is pinaglaban niya and na-represent niya yung will of the people and the democracy. Her words were not only about her husband's martyrdom, but also about the rebirth of a nation, reminding the world that freedom is not given, it is fought, and must be continuously defended.